this morning, and hello everyone, Noah here, and today we're doing a challenge. It's kind of a challenge. Zach, my friend Zach again, told me of another challenge, and he challenged me to make a carrier, an aircraft carrier. He also has challenged me to do another challenge, which I will do as well. So we have our spawn vehicle here, and I am the CDF. As you can see, CDF is the, if you don't know what the acronym is, it's the Canadian Defence Force, because that's what CDF would stand for. So we have our carrier, and we have a little bit of a support frigate just to hold our seas. We haven't had any land threats. We've had a couple of threats from the water, but we've been okay. Air, we don't have to really worry about because we're in the air all the time. I think people are actually afraid to come over to our airspace because of how dangerous we can be with our terrible pilots. But, yeah, so we're gonna just send our frigate out. He has to go and do a little patrol, so we're just gonna get him to go out and do a little patrol. And, yeah. So we have here our frigate. It's using some modded parts. It's not got the WW2 Warships mod because I really suck building warships in that, so we're gonna do something with this. This is our frigate here. This is how it's gonna look. We have our carrier over there, which has, this one. There we go. Here's our carrier here. It's got two fighter airplanes, fighter biplanes, which actually have to be controlled by a probe because if I use VesselMover to get these in the water, it only puts in one crew. So, yeah. But that's fine. So we have our frigate here, and he's just going to go out and do a little bit of a starter patrol that he does all the time. Well, not all the time. It's like his first time. So we need to set everything to reverse thrust. I just want to make sure that everything's set to the normal thrust it was before. Okay. I have a button, and when I push 2, it activates the reverse thrust, because these are pointed backwards. They would be a propeller that would push forwards, which would actually be in that direction. So this thing's a relatively slow craft. But if we look over there, paying attention lately, you may have noticed that there's some craft over there. We don't know what they're doing, and that's what this guy's going to go out and explore. He's going to go out there. He's going to have this guy set to normal thrust so he can turn. He turns, and he's going to keep going along here. So far, it's fine. We'll just do that. So this guy's going to go out and he's going to investigate. Oh, come on. There we go. That's good enough. Alright, we do want to make sure that in the army set to team A, because these guys are here. We don't know what they're doing. I just want to make sure that they're set to the opposite team, because if they're not, then guard mode is going to tell them to attack each other, slash me. This guy's a manager, because he's our spawn vehicle for these guys. So we don't know how many of these guys might be chasing us down. What we do know, though, is that I don't really want to have to try and deal with them, but it seems that they're gonna try and attack. We're gonna go for a nice high range, so 5.5 kilometers. Target type, all targets. And that, I think, no, that's my AA cannon. That's my big cannon on the front there, so he's gonna be doing that. And this guy's gonna probably start moving. Yeah, he's starting to move. Oh wait, hang on. I want to set these guys to reverse south, I'm an idiot. Okay, he appears to be starting to move now towards us, which is slightly a problematic thing. We're getting a bit of a dip now in the water. This is common with the type of frigate that I've used, because I've put 4 tanks in here to try and give it the ability to sink, but I now notice that these aren't going to work very well. So it's now coming at us at about 10 meters per second at 2/3 power, so we're just going to bring it down a bit, because we have a secondary frigate that's going to be also coming for us, which is going to be annoying. Just want to make sure that everything's here is set up properly. We tell him to have firing interval of 2. I sure have these guys pre-set up, but whatever. Activate guard mode. Give him some juice. Take out the ore that's in the middle, or in the front, so that it actually goes forward. It's going to start picking up speed quite quickly after I jettison these tank contents. Actually, jettison? No. Come on. The ore tank, please. Yeah, I did. You just got to get it going using the full throttle, and then you can start putting the throttle down. So these will automatically start opening fire on my own frigate. So 2 frigates against 1, I don't think we would win. But not only that, but they're also going to be sending an entire cruiser at us. Like, one of their cruisers will be coming at us as well. I just do want to make sure that every engine is set to... See, these aren't set to reverse thrust. They were set to normal thrust. I need to just set all of these to reverse thrust so they go forward. Because the forward is the front of the boat. This is the back of the boat. We want them to be going forwards. And without forwards, I didn't notice that these were all just in reverse or normal thrust as well. But whatever. Kick us into high gear. Actually, we're going to bring this guy to normal thrust for just a second here. Just to pull this off to the side so it actually goes better. Oh, this guy's got a lot of power as well behind him. He's got so many more engines. Tiny bit more of a turn there. And he's got a lot of weapons, as you can tell. So we're going to have a firing interval. A higher firing interval. Nah, we'll just keep 2. No, we'll go 3. That's going to get that spot. This guy's going to be opening fire at that, because I'm bored. I'm not going to get to an exact better number. And now we just need to get... here's our frigate. He doesn't have his guard mode on yet, because, well, we don't know entirely that they're coming yet, but he's just going to go in there. He's going to go and try and investigate what's going on. He is going to have his guard mode on, but he's going to have a much lower firing interval, or higher in the firing interval, so it takes a lot longer. We're only going to be opening fire within about 3 kilometers. And then this guy's going to start checking along as well. We're going to just give him the most minute turn ever. And we don't know what we're going up against, so we're just going to be cautious. We want to be careful. And yeah, I'll just jump cut to when we're actually there. Oh, and by the way, this is on a different world. It's on the World War K one, so... yeah, that's fine though. It's it's not technically the YouTube challenges one. It's just because I wanted to have these for if I, you know, did do a World War K type series, so, or whatever, collaborative warfare, or whatever type series, whatever, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I just want these here so that we can do stuff like that, and I don't have to create new craft every time. So, just so you know. Okay, okay. Okay, so we've got our... no, it's just getting nicer background from my eyes. I'm getting really close to some of the enemy's fleet. So, these guys... this guy's still a bit behind. He's still 7.5 kilometers away. But the guys in the front, they're 5 kilometers away. And they're taking their aim already. And they're shooting. Oh god, I saw some shots flying. Can you get hit? I don't know. I can't see anything. I think they missed. But I can hear shots, and we're not shooting. Oh, that was a shot that landed directly in front of me. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. They're shooting at me. Ooh, direct hit. Oh, but we only lost our engines, so this thing is still a floating thing. But it's gonna be bombarded to the point of death in a minute here. Ooh, yeah. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I think they destroyed the... look at that, it's just a flying engine. Okay, let's try and get back to the, or what's left of the ship. Oh, it's still okay. I mean, there's no command module anymore, but there's still a BDArmory weapon manager. But guard mode being on, doesn't matter. It's got no propulsion, it's not going anywhere. But I mean, these cruisers are still headed in towards us. We do want to just switch to these frigates here, which are still coming in. We're going to make them slow down. Because they caught our ship, and they know they are ruling right now. But we need to quickly assemble a defense against these guys, because they're going to start killing us now soon. thankfully we have our carrier. Our carrier is the only thing, though, that is actually still alive. And is not even really prepared to go for a battle yet. I mean, it's got its planes, so we can send off its planes, but the planes aren't going to be great at this sort of distance. We are going to just send one, though. So we're going to just decouple mode. And then we can switch to this. Or switch the length. See, it's a probe, right? So it's not going to be able to do very well. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, I don't care. I already saw that. Activate the engine. Provide what little thrust you're going to provide. I can, using this, guard mode on, and that one down, and using wing command. You know, I don't have wing command on this one. I use wing command from the other thing. Okay, just, there we go. Now we should just be able to switch back to the carrier, and then using wing command, we can carrier ship, take off, and then if we switch to him, he hasn't actually got his autopilot on, so he's not actually going to do anything. Oh no, he's got his pilot on. Okay, let's just hit the deactivate pilot button so we can just... Oh, there we go. Oh god, he's not going to have enough speed to take off. Okay, well... That's fine. I have the pilot activated by default. Okay, let's try this guy and see if this guy can manage to make it. I highly doubt he'll be able to do it, but we can try. Just gonna activate the engine. Give it some throttle. Does it have the thingy automatically on? No, it doesn't. Okay. Now we want to switch back to the carrier. Then refresh wing command. And then say take off. And then we need to switch back to him, and we need to disable the autopilot. And automatically, there we go. It's going to automatically try and take off. He's crashed into a thing. I'm going to do that. We're going to collide with a handful of things, but hopefully this guy can accelerate fast enough. No, again, he's going to just detonate and explode. Okay, so we just, I'm just going to quickly grab my object thrower and just blow them up so that they're not showing up on the wing command anymore. So that's a bit of a problem. The carrier only has flak. That's all it's got. It doesn't have a lot. Of course, we can always just spawn new planes and send them off, but they're a bit far away from now. I think we can actually manage to make some boats and send them off. So what we do is we use VesselMover, we click on spawn vessel, it takes a second, and then, so we want to find the CDF, we're going to get the CDF, we're going to get a cruiser, and we just spawn a cruiser in like so, and then once it's going in, we then just have to push the place vessel as soon as it's loaded. There we go, push this place vessel button, it lands in the ocean. Nothing explodes, also known as everything explodes, and nothing works anymore. And we can use our object thrower just to decimate everything. Oh frick, I think I might have hit the... Yeah, I've destroyed the cruiser. Damn. I've destroyed the carrier. God damn it. That's fine. Okay, so there goes all of our carrier ability and stuff. Is it even going forward very fast? It's not. Okay, they're doing a more cautious approach because they don't know if we're like going to attack them or not with our full strength. So they have their other frigate and cruiser back here, but this is the cruiser that's moving slowly. We're gonna kick it into higher speed. And we want to just literally switch this to... Oh, can't switch vessels over while moving over the surface. We gotta do it this way. Till we get to... well, we're gonna go to recover the vessel. We're gonna recover all the debris that's now there. And then after we've done that, we can go into our spawner. Spawn vehicle. Oh no, my spawn vehicle got destroyed too, and everything. Oh, damn. Okay, so we've been completely obliterated at this point. We need to get an entire new thing out, but we're gonna use a bomb. We're gonna use an attacker, which has a machine gun, Vulcan turret, which we may be able to use. They do have anti-air, so I don't know how well that's gonna work. We're gonna do, we're gonna get an attacker flying off after we get our new spawn vehicle back in. I did make the carrier, Zach, and it does work as a carrier of carrying planes. It doesn't allow them to really go anywhere. You'd have to land them on the land, and then they can take off. I'm also gonna recover what's left of our frigate there. So they're now marching in on us. We need to get our spawn vehicle here. It's just our basic little spawn vehicle. We're not going to slam Jeb in there. We're just going to spawn in with someone who's expendable. We then go in, we can fly, we can land something down, so we can spawn in boats. We're going to send a boat in, we're going to send a plane in, and then hopefully we can start taking them down. So basically, to land this where we want to go, we have to immediately push space and Z, otherwise this just spins out of control. You want to have SAS on, and then you'll automatically have these push you down to keep you stable and in the ground. And all of your wings surfaces will deal with everything they need to deal with. And eventually, the plane, after a little while, will just take off on its own. Watch. When you build it right, it works, and it just does it all on its own. And then you can obviously pull up and do stuff. So we're going to turn around this way. We're going to do a loop. A bit of a loop-de-loop here. And then obviously we can bring in our gears. For some reason my gears aren't working. The sound gets glitchy when you use Firespitter parts because the rotor blade parts, the motors, these, what are these called? Propeller engines, their sound takes over everything else, and you can't actually hear anything unless you have more sound channels allowed. Let's go to sound. Yeah, I don't think you can actually change all of that stuff, but I can actually, okay, well not that. We can make the game look nicer. We can make it look, well, a lot better, like a quarter res. And do that, because now I have less mods. And we'll get less lag. So now I can have nicer looking parts. And stuff. So we do need to bring this thing in quickly. It has no weapons or be a weapon manager, so it doesn't get targeted by ships. Because that's how things work. BDArmory will only attack with guard mode. It will only ever attack other things that have guard mode on, or a weapon manager on them. I'm going to bring this one in a little bit farther from the water this time, I think. You do want to be careful when you're launching this. You do want to be very careful. But this, oh yeah, you need to have your pitch inactive. Wheels are coming down. I'm going to engage this into full reverse thrust mode. Bring us in for a nice landing. And then the brakes hold us where we are. So now we're going to get a boat going first. So we're going to do just a basic frigate, because frigates are nice and easy. Frigates are really easy. You can just, like, for things like cruisers and carriers, you need to put them, like, next to the land. But for frigates, you can just, like, put them right in the water, wherever you want them to go. You just have to immediately click on the place vessel button, and then they're flying in the water. And then you just activate their engines. These ones are going to be set to normal thrust, so that we can turn. And using BDArmory, you can obviously get your guard menu stuff. So now we're just going to use this, and you can immediately start turning in the direction you want to go in, and then you can stop pretty easily. We're going to get those ore contents jettisoned so we can make this thing go properly. And yeah, it's pretty easy. You just do that, reverse fast. You could even spawn another one. And we're going to spawn another one, because if we don't, then this thing is then we're going to be pretty underpowered with just one frigate. We're going to send 2 frigates over, since we only have them right now. We only currently have the 2 frigates. And just safely place that down in the water, or not. It just will be entirely destroyed, and we'll have to recover the vessel because it didn't spawn in the water properly. Actually, we'll put in our plane. We'll send in our attacker. Right now, that's what we're going to do. We're going to send in our attacker. Yeah, so we're just going to send in our attacker, and well, we got to find the attacker. Biplane attacker. No, we want to find the CDF biplane attacker, because that's the more fixed one. We're going to put Jeb in this one, because he's an ace pilot. So we're just going to take this off, and we're going to tell it to just do stuff. Into its attack position stuff. So we're just gonna, using this, we can do wing command, and we can bring the wing command over to this side. We can say command south, select all, guard menu, turn on guard mode, firing interval will be minimal, guns range, there, south target 2, that really doesn't matter. Take off. I have to stage for him. I need to tell the pilot to be deactivated, and then the thing automatically goes on its own. If I use take off, is it gonna work? Oh no, it's not gonna work, because it's not gonna... It doesn't understand how this works, the propeller. But it'll be fine. So we just take off our plane like normal. It eventually just takes off all on its own. You don't have to do too much. It just eventually lifts off the ground. After getting to a high enough speed, you'll see the wheels will just bloop, or up and off the ground. And we can now, and if we tell it to, okay, bring the gears, which again have no sound. And we want to go up here. Attack position there. It's not gonna do anything. Wait, activate the pilot. Yeah, if I activate the pilot, it tries to do stuff, and I don't like that, so we're gonna actually have to send this in on its own, because it's gonna try and do stuff. I want you to now, if we get up high, minimum altitude, default altitude, so we want to bring it to its default altitude of 500 meters. Then we can activate the pilot and tell it attack position. And then it's going to realize it doesn't do what I ask it to do, and I'm going to have to deactivate the pilot and do it on my own. God damn it. Okay, we're going to send this attacker in. We're going to tell that to shut up. So, clearly, this doesn't know how to do planes. Thankfully, I do. So, we can't actually really get our ship going yet. We're going to turn off guard mode. Get rid of those. Can't do anything with them. We have a handful of missiles, so if we find there's a target, we point at our target, which isn't moving very quickly. We can probably, if we just move and aim slightly above our target, we can fire one of our Hellfire missiles. And that should, hopefully, this is going to angle upwards naturally, but it'll eventually run out of power. We are going to be shot at via flak, probably. Oh, yeah, they're flak canning and stuff. They're really heavily shooting at me. So I'm going to aim for him, actually. So they're being idiots and not using their anti-air on me, but I'm being shot by cannons. Naval cannons. I'm being shot at by naval cannons now here. Oh god, I've been hit. They destroyed all my bombs, and they've destroyed the thing. Jeez, there goes the plane. Alright, well, I guess the only real way we can really come in is via a boat at this close range. They're not actually going anywhere. There's our attacker. There's some debris from our attacker. There's the GDF cruiser that's supposed to be moving. He's actually going. Oh no, they're just not going fast enough to do anything. Okay, I'm gonna set that one to normal thrust just to bring them in. There we go. That's the other cruiser, that's the other frigate. That's another frigate. We're gonna turn up the engines a bit on these craft. So their fleet will start moving again. They don't go very fast, the frigates, I've noticed. But here's our frigate, and this is gonna have to go on its own. I've got guard mode on. Firing interval, minimum firing interval, and visual range max. Guns range, do a decent gun range. Go. And then using VesselMover, we can just quickly spawn in a new frigate as they're coming, as we're moving, which is nice. Frigate. And we're going to spawn a frigate there. And then it's automatically going to spawn it in the air there. Then using place vessel, we can place the vessel. Activate our engines. That guy's off on his own. We need to immediately start to turn, so we're going to do that. Okay, make sure they're set to reverse thrust, and reverse thrust, and guard mode's on. Full throttle. And there's our boat. It's going off. And we can also spawn in our plane, should we want to, and we do so wish to. So we're gonna spawn in a biplane attacker from here. Now they take quite the power to take off, but we should just be able to spawn one in there. It spawns them in the same direction the runway is facing, which is always useful to take off from the runway. So we're going to be doing this guy. We've got our boats already going in full power towards their boats, which are not going in very quickly. We can remove the guard menu, we don't need them. So we're starting to take off with our attacker here. Because we have a new attacker. We've already built one. We've got plenty built, we just haven't got them launched yet. So if you don't know what the GDF would be, well, if you've looked at like any map ever, you'll know that next to Canada, to the east, the northeast of Canada, you'll see Greenland, and that's who they are, Greenland Defense Force, and they're attacking us. Now, this is obviously not to scale. Like, this entire continent would not be Canada. This is not how things work in real life, and that is not, the island runway is not just Greenland. That's not the actual scale. If that was the real scale, Greenland would be about the size of a pea compared to all of Canada. But anyways, we're gonna go in, and we're gonna go bomb some of these dudes. So that one's the not moving one, I don't think. Actually, no. That's an attacker debris, meaning those ones would be the ones that are moving. Those ones over there are the ones that aren't moving. We're already going faster than the boats, because the boats go so slowly with their, the fact that they're, a boat. They don't go very fast through the water, so we're gonna have to try and get a bombing run on these guys. So we're gonna go up, we're gonna go full power, and we're gonna make sure we're set to surface. We're gonna go up, and we want to go high, because if we don't go high, we're probably going to be killed. But yeah, this thing's armed with AGM-114s, which are the Hellfire missiles. I'll launch them like that. And we're just gonna do a little bit of shooting at them, shooting in their general direction with this. It's not gonna be the most effective thing in the world, but they're gonna start being shot at by stuff. And we're gonna now, nope, not that one. That's the, nope, that's not the, that's the cruiser. We want to bomb the cruiser. And we want these bombs to be able to actually hit the cruiser. So he's actually being smart and using his flak now. But now we have a problem of he's bombing the crap out of my missiles that are meant for him. He's gonna start being destroyed. Oh frick, I'm being shot at now. Come on. Oh, up. Oh god, they're detonating in midair, which I don't like. Bump and bump. Okay, now we got a Vulcan turret. You can actually use for shooting. Yeah, they're using their flak, but he's smart. He's being smart and using his flak now to try and shoot at my bombs. Ah, ooh, they're being shot at by my ships now. My gun's still not working. God damn it. Does my gun actually work at all? Why don't you work? I have your type of ammo. Whatever. I know these ones fire, so we're gonna try and go in for an attack run. Just gonna shoot crap out of this. Oh god, we've lost wings and the entire thing has been heated up to crash. Damn, they're really good at blowing up stuff, but this has actually gone off to the side, so we're gonna just start to turn him. So now we're really good at bombing the crap out of stuff, but we've actually started shooting at them with our own ships, I think. Oh, but did they destroy mine? Oh no, we blew theirs up. We blew up their cruiser. Did we blow up their cruiser? Now let's try and get to the. Oh, there's lots of parts that are approaching their pressure limits because they're going out of the water. Here's my other frigate. Here's some cruiser debris, some more cruiser debris, some more cruiser debris. Yeah, we've actually destroyed the entire cruiser. It's like entirely been wiped out, and we have this piece that's moving over here. So if we move all the way back through, we've got our frigates moving in pretty quickly. We're gonna just make this guy turn a tiny bit. So that's the cruiser. There's their frigates. But they're gonna start moving in more ships, see? Because, you know, we've just, you know, started to destroy their stuff, so they don't really feel confident. I wouldn't feel confident in sending my own ships into slaughter. But now they're sending in their own ships. Oh, there's more fire. I can hear more fire. Guard menu. Guard mode is on. Firing interval. Nice and low. And their gun's range needs to go up a bit. So now he's going in. They're also going to get a new frigate, because I've decided so. So they're going to get a new frigate. We don't have any stuff like big ships, like battleship or anything like that. But the biggest we have is cruisers, and that I'm fine with. Oh, we're being shot at our own vessel, but if we set it to D&B, it won't be shot at anymore. We can engage his engines, and just got a time warp, which brings them up really faster is all it does. We need no power on these. You're going to be set to normal thrust and to normal thrust. Oh frick, we're going to be coming up in a weird way. Okay, wait, I got an idea. If we set these ones, no, the ones on the top. Frick it. Frick it. Okay, well, hopefully it still works. We're gonna set this one is gonna be the normal, that one's gonna be reverse, and this one is gonna be set to the normal thrust. Hopefully, what I'm hoping is that it's gonna pull the ship. Never mind. Okay. I mean, this one, when we progress on to fight them, will be destroyed. I mean, I could just use, let's use a frigate. We will spawn the frigate. We will spawn it nearer to the surface of the water, so it won't spawn under the water as far down under the water. See? He's not under the water. We need to send him to D&D though. Engage his engines. Give him SAS. I pushed the wrong button. Set them to normal thrust and set them to normal thrust. Then we should just be able to turn him around. We're gonna set up his guard mode while we're waiting for this. Sure, that's good, I guess. And just give him a better guns range. There we go. He doesn't have his guard mode on yet, but actually, you know what? I can give him guard mode and he'll shoot back. And And that's good. Then this guy can have his reverse thrust back on. His reverse thrust back on. Give him guard mode. Throttle him up. Give him a tiny bit of a turn. I forgot to get rid of the ore tank contents, so we're gonna have to do that one again. Give it full throttle just to get it moving, and we can bring it down. And then we're gonna... no, not that one. Not that one. Oh, we've decimated another frigate. This upside down one is going to go into Team A, and now it's going to start being shot at by this guy. And if we can finally figure out how to get back to that cruiser. Oh, here's one of our cruisers. It's moving in, but it's being shot at. Missing. It's being missed, though, which is good. But here's another one of our frigates. Oh, no, wait. I think this is, yeah, I think this is the only frigate we have. Oh, yeah, there's their one. There's another one. There's their cruiser. Gonna have its guard mode on. Can have much more guns range. All of these in normal thrust. Okay, they're all in normal thrust. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna activate all, like one of them into normal reverse thrust, which is forward thrust actually. And then set that one to normal thrust. Set that one to the reverse thrust. Full throttle it. It's very hard turning the cruiser, and then we can just set him to normal thrust, using a small forward thrust. There we go. And now this thing's off. I mean, it's gonna go much faster, and it's ready to go. It's firing off. We're gonna spawn yet another frigate, which will be just sitting around doing nothing. That's a CDF one. We want a GDF one. GDF frigate. Just gonna spawn it in a decent spot over there, where it's not gonna mess up. Oh, it's already being shot at, because that's what happens. Come on. Team D. There we go. Now we won't be shot at anymore by that one over there. Which shouldn't be on... Yeah, there's a lot of these parts that are just, Oh, here's the CDF frigate. Here's a piece of CDF frigate that we have. Here's another one of our CDF frigates, which aren't actually being engaged because of all the enemy ships. GDF frigates are actually moving very slowly on them. For some reason. Okay, here's another GDF frigate, which is actually moving in quickly. Here's our GDF cruiser, which is moving in quickly. Here's the spawn vessel, and here's the frigate we just spawned in. So we're gonna do all the regular stuff. Start its turn. Jettison the tank contents. And then after that, we can, we're not going to send this guy off because, well, they've already got lots of ships going out, and they're already being just slowly slaughtered, so they're going to start building up their fleet. I mean, they're obliterating my fleet now, so they're going to be moving in, starting to destroy everything, and if they can get close enough to the Kerbal Space Center, and I can't do anything about it, I'm more than likely going to lose the Kerbal Space Center, which I would rather not do, because we carry out many special space missions. So we do need to protect it. We don't really have a way of doing that very well. So here's one of our frigates. Here's just a debris piece. Here's just what's left of another piece of frigate, some enemy cruiser debris. But other than that, there's like nothing really left at all. There's a lot of frigate debris from them and our own. And if we're just not moving, we should just be able to switch over to this. Do we not have our spawner anymore? No, our spawner vehicle's there. Is it just a piece of debris now? Has it been shot, or what? Oh yeah, it's been exploded. Thankfully, thankfully, because this guy's not moving, we can spawn in our own thing. So we're gonna spawn in a bomber. We're gonna send in a bomber. Alright? We've got our biplane bomber here. It's gonna go in, and it's gonna kick some butt. Kick some GDF butt, because we have only got one frigate left, and that one frigate that's left is not really left. It's more than likely dead. But anyways, this thing is loaded with 4 MK82 bombs. It is also loaded with a Browning machine gun on the front, so you can shoot in the front. It's got 2 Vulcan cannons, one in the back and one in the front, as well as nothing really else. It's a basic, light sort of type thing. It's very heavy, so it needs full power. But it's unlike things like in Tape Gaming's World War K, it doesn't actually need more than one engine. It still flies with only one engine. I mean, it carries very little bombs, but it flies. So that's really all I want from my planes. I just want my planes to fly, damn it. If my planes fly, I'm happy. But then again, we are being destroyed out there, so we do need to do something about it. Considering there's like a bajillion enemy ships everywhere, so I'm gonna arm our trigger. We're gonna bring in, starting with the bombs. Actually, from here we can probably reach with our Vulcan turrets. Which one's the enemy? Those that are I can't tell. Hang on, let's set it to no weapon. What is that? Yeah, that's our guy. And over there is the enemy guy. Where's the actual enemy? That's one of our own frigates. That's our other one of our own frigates. That one's the one I think that's under the water, so let's try and find where their frigate is. Ah, that's where their frigate is. So we can using our because our ship is being hit quite a bit. Now their guns range by default is about 5 and something kilometers, so I'm gonna easily be shot at. But this is the bomber. It's not. It's fine. We have lots of budget here with the KSC. Oh, we've destroyed it. I think we've mostly destroyed it. It's gonna be dead in a minute here, so we don't actually really have to bomb it. But our own frigate, actually, our own frigate hasn't taken any damage at all. They don't have any other ships, I don't think, coming at us. Let's just get a quick look. Yeah, this is the... No, that's not their frigate. I don't know. Let's just have a look. Let's just have a flyby of it. See how destroyed it is. Just to be safe, we're gonna drop a bomb on it. Yeah, it's mostly in pieces, so we're just gonna drop our entire payload there. Okay. Alright, perfect. So now all we have to do is we could just entirely crash this into the ocean, or land it and recover it, and then after recovering it, we could manage to... Well, I don't want to target there. After we land it and recover it, we could outfit it with more bombs and stuff. So we've stopped their total advance so far. I mean, they're going to be sending more ships, but that was a successful defense of the KSC, and we need to get more ships. We have learned this lesson. As of now, we need to now be getting more boats, because we sent out like a carrier and 5 frigates just to take out like a small group of like I think they used 3 or 4 frigates and 2 cruisers. We used a cruiser, 5 frigates and a carrier, and we still barely won with only 1 ship left intact. And that was only 1 frigate, and that frigate is an immovable base. It's an immovable... Look, it's an immovable boat. We can't use it. It's useless. It's got literally no speed. It's got no propulsion behind it at all anymore. So we're just gonna land this bomber. We don't have to land it necessarily on the runway. We can try though. But yeah, I think once I left out of loading range, anything that's on the land, well, when it's in loading range, it just detonates because the ground just doesn't work. Stuff on the water, for some reason, is more stable to come into loading range into, because that one's literally just under the ground. That part is literally under the ground. There is a piece of the spawn vehicle, of our spawn vehicle, that is under the ground. So, we can always just spawn new ships from wherever, right? We can just use, whatever existing ships we already have, or debris that's currently on the ground. Yeah. And then full power. Full stop the brakes. There we go, and then we could even shut down the engine. Shut down the engine. Make sure it's at the normal thrust. And there we go, there's our successful Kerbal Space Center defense. It was a very small attack. We used a lot of money and resources and time trying to defeat them, but I mean, we did it. We did it. We defended them. We defended the Kerbal Space Center. But yes, I did do Zach's challenge. It doesn't really work the way it's intended to. You could land a plane on it if you have the skill, and you could just remove the docking ports and the plane that's already there, but and the only way you're actually going to be able to take off is if you're a very excellent pilot and you can take off very well. But yeah, so this was the successful defense of the Kerbal Space Center, and hopefully there's not too much more to come. I can obviously do more of this sort of thing. This is sort of what you'd expect. Boat battles, you can expect dog fights in midair. I just like the biplanes, but they don't actually work with the BDArmory, so we'd use jets instead. So you'd expect like water battles like this. You can expect water battles where there's planes flying over top, bombing them. There could be dog fights everywhere, right? You can use bombers, all this stuff. We can use, I mean, these are actually really cheap, so we can actually have a crap ton of these if we really wanted to. But for stuff like jets, we could only really have a handful of them in the air, mainly because of lag and other things. But and if we were doing this costly-wise, like it's in Korea, it would be expensive. But for but you could also do tank battles. We could use tanks. We could send them off. We can give them using their using the this. If we actually activated this thing's motor, enable motor. We turn off the brakes. Or not, maybe, I don't know. But you could, using the trim, which is holding down Alt and pushing a button, you can change how it's pitching or whatever. And when you do pitch, right, you can go forward using motors. So using tanks, we could just use Alt W, hold that down for a little while, and then they go all on their own after we have them pointed in the right direction, of course. And then we can do tank battles like that. But then again, for tank battles, we'd have to have, they'd have to, send, a plane or something over, set up a new base somewhere, over here, where we couldn't see them very well, and then they could send off boats, and they could come over. But I thought that would be the best spot for boats and stuff. There's no real spot where you can have both boats and tanks coming in and attacking each other. Sure, they could set up a base over there, but how are they going to do boats? If they did boats over here, then yeah, they have to go this way, and they'd have to go out pretty far. So they could have, they could use that as their sea base / plane base, and then use this as their tank base or whatever, and then send tanks over every once in a while. But then the problem is, we have tanks, and then we just send everything off from here. We just spawn in tanks around the KSC, and then we can just send massive armies, and they take time. Whereas we can just go spawn one, spawn one, spawn one, spawn one, send them all off eventually with guard mode on, and then they'd have to do spawn one, set up all this stuff and then spawn one and so on and so forth until they actually go. Like, we could easily just wipe them out with 5 tanks to 2 if we wanted to. But to make it more fair, we'd obviously change it and do stuff. Water battles are one of the easiest things to do. Planes are kind of easy, but they're sort of harder to do, because you have to, like for boats, you just set them up, you turn them, point them in the right direction, send them off, there you go. You don't have to tell them to do anything, you just send them off with guard mode on, you're good. But yeah, so if you want me to do more of this, I can do more of this. This is definitely a thing I want to do. This is very fun. I might use jets for the next time, so that we can actually use the wing command, so they actually go and do their own thing. So I can fly and fight and do dogfights. But yeah, so if you want to see more of this, let me know. I'm gonna obviously be doing Kerbal challenges still. This is sort of a combination of like a beginning of a possible new series. This isn't actually like going off and like, this is something I want to do like so badly that, and it's not gonna be like similar, like the exact same thing to something like Tape Gaming's Collaborative Warfare, or Fall of Kerbin, or Kerbal Rising, or Enter Elysium's World War K. We're not doing stuff like, I'm not doing stuff like that, because they do like turn-based, like for Enter Elysium, he just created setups where he would then create something in the VAB or the Spaceflight Hangar, and then would go and do a thing, do a mission. And then Tape, for Collaborative Warfare, Fall of Kerbin, and Kerbal Rising, they did multiplayer, but sharing a save file as a turn-based thing. This would be all on one save file. I'm handling everything, basically. Unless, you know, Dave did it, and we could get, well, we could do stuff properly with, DarkMultiplayer. Like, with DMP, you can use BDA, like, BDArmory, but, moderators at any point, like people who are, moderators or admins or whatever, they could just go and delete anything they want, and the server over time, just to reduce lag, will remove every single craft in the entirety of the thing if they're in orbit around the Kerbal system, or if they're landed on Kerbal, they will be cleaned up. If they're in the middle of the atmosphere and the thing does the server does the cleanup, it doesn't do that. If it's on a different planet, then it doesn't do that for them. But if it's in orbit around any planets, if it's in the atmosphere of any planets, if it's currently moving in on any planets, then it does get deleted. Or it doesn't get deleted if it's in the middle of the atmosphere or is moving. So a plane moving on land, as long as it's higher than the you can time warp faster time, to like the time warp 4, then it won't be deleted. So it's like a minimum of 0.5 meters per second you have to be going to keep your thing working, which would be annoying because the server would be running that. But like if you had to leave and you didn't want anything to be deleted, you'd have to have it moving along the ground at 0.5 meters per second, and say you left overnight and you slept overnight, right? If you started at this end of the runway overnight, it would easily have gotten to the other end of the runway at 0.5 meters per second overnight. And then the next time you got on, you would notice that it's over all the way on the other end of the runway. You get on it, you fly it, and then it's going to fall off the end of the runway. So single player or a shared save file is better right now, because DMP is very glitchy, very laggy, and very, well, it's not laggy, it's very glitchy, and it's very difficult to get a private server running and working. So we might not do that. If we can improve it, if we can eventually, with all our mods like BDArmory, VesselMover, and Firespitter, basically a minimum, as well as the stuff like BigShips, which is what is being used for all of them, and SM Marine and other marine mods. I'm hearing gunshots going off for some reason. There's one frigate here. There's some frigate debris around here. The hell? Oh, there's a GDF frigate moving in. Oh, I didn't know that was still going. This is still just, there's still an engine just flying around at random. But okay, lots of the debris is just moving all on its own. But here's my thing, and it's shooting at stuff because it's being shot at. It's shooting back at that frigate that's all the way over there. And this is probably going to get destroyed because it has no movement, so it's not actually able to move at all. So that thing has a point-blank shot. I mean, this thing is still doing pretty okay, but like one more shot and it's dead. There it is. Everything's gone. One hit's going to get the whole thing destroyed, and now this has no BDA weapon manager. So there goes our frigate. There's our only frigate gone, and we're being attacked again. I forgot I did that. So now we need to spawn a new frigate in because this guy's dead. And the boats, I love how the boats, all these parts are actually, because I put in ore tanks, are slowly sinking. I put a handful of ore tanks. The only one that's not sinking is this one because I had to remove, oh no, this one shouldn't be sinking. Oh no, it's the very front piece that won't be sinking. This one's not sinking just because it doesn't have any, I don't think, in the first place. Oh, stuff is being destroyed because it's sinking to the bottom. So everything actually sinks to the bottom because I put the ore tanks on, and I think these are actually, some parts are heavy enough to sink on their own. Like with stuff like a bunch of ammo on them, it's going to be able to do that. And it's got a good amount of wool on it and stuff too. So we should, oh, oops, I didn't mean like do that. Yeah, we should probably get a new ship because, here's the frigate that was just there. It actually turned on its own, I think. Oh no, wait, it lost its engines. That's what happened. So we managed to disable their ship, but they managed to completely destroy our ship. And not only do they have an anti-air cannon, an anti-air flat cannon, but they also have their they still have their naval gun. But if we shot at them, we'd be able to pretty easily sever them by just shooting at that hole. But it's not moving, so we should be fine. We won't have to worry about it. They're still trying to build up their navy, but for the next video, we'll have probably about, for the next video, if people want to watch more of this, you either comment below that you want more, or you can like the video. And if I get 3 likes, because I don't ever get likes, if I get 3 likes on here, I will continue this. If I get 5 or more if I get 3 or more comments saying to continue, I will continue, and in the next video I do of this, if I do more of this, I will have a battleship. Now, I don't have destroyers because I think destroyers are overpowered. I mean, if this is overpowered enough, imagine a torpedo launcher that's launching out 4 torpedoes. Or 2 torpedoes. 1 torpedo would be enough to sink an entire ship. And that's because I don't use the special armor. I don't use the other armor because I really suck. I really suck at using World War II Warships armor, so I don't use that. But I would say that just using these parts is fine because they work just fine. So I might make a battleship because I can use TweakScale with these parts, so I can make a massive battleship that I can put out into the water. So if people want more of this, then I will do more of this. So here's what's left of our frigate. Here's what's left of their frigate. We're gonna slowly sink to our pressure limits and die. And that's actually one way to reduce debris amounts, because the parts will actually slowly sink and then reach their pressure limits and explode. So yeah, I'll continue this. I'll probably make a battleship for the next video if you guys want more of this. Yeah. Oh wait, they have a cruiser too. I forgot I sent a cruiser out and it's headed the completely wrong way. Kind of hard to get it right first time, but I mean, I'm just gonna bring this in. It'll be approaching onto this side now. Now it just needs to get pushing over there hard enough that it moves over there. In fact, I'm just gonna turn it even more because it's about to hit into the, it's gonna hit the ground soon. So we're gonna probably need to bring in a bomber to take this guy out. But yeah. Let's use trim up. Oh, that can make it sink and stuff, I guess. parts are exploding because they're reaching their pressure limits down there. So now this boat's just gonna glide, and eventually it's gonna stop. And this is gonna be on guard mode. So now we have two enemy ships just floating outside of our waters. They won't be engaging because they're being cautious and they're being smart. But that means that we're going to be pretty killed, I think. Because they've got two boats now, and that's not fun. So, so if we push 2, we can then just engage them into full backwards. Then stop. So now we're being surrounded by 2 enemy ships. They also have another frigate back there, so they can send in more support. We have no ships at all, but that will change in the next video when we will have our battleship technology and we can fight back and take these guys down, as well as our more heavy bomber. We'll make a heavy bomber, and make a better attacker and stuff like that as well. Make her better. Make a fighter that we can use in the air. But sadly, they have a spy, and we don't know who that spy is. We don't know which Kerbal that spy is, but that's telling every single enemy, like the GDF, the old technology we have, so they can, because they're high authority, and they decide that we are terrible people and we deserve to die, which is kind of annoying. But basically, I think this is like, it's about 7 kilometers from the bomber, so it could easily, if it wanted to, start bombing the crap out of the bomber. In fact, we can even give it the guns range to do that now. Guard mode's on. It's just not picking a weapon. Because it only has that much visual range, it can only see so far. But I mean, if it brings it in, I bet it's going to start destroying our bomber there, which is quickly going to start getting closer. Yep, even more parts exploding due to their pressure limits. That's how things work, which is really nice because it keeps down debris, or like I said, it helps prevent debris from getting around, and it helps me with cleanup, so I don't have to clean up for a very long time afterwards. We do just want to keep an eye on our surface speed. And this thing, I bet, once it reaches, like, the coast, it's going to be able to start shooting stuff. I mean, this isn't actually a thing it's going to shoot, because it doesn't have a weapon manager on it, but if it's got a weapon manager on it, like the bomber does, well, there goes my bomber. But I don't think it'll be able to reach over the amount of the land that's going to get in the way. But we'll see if the cruiser can reach us. I highly doubt it can, because its total visual range is only 5 kilometers, so... Oh no, we're about to reach 5 kilometers here in a minute. And roughly 5 kilometers away. It should be able to see it. But thankfully it doesn't, so that's a good thing. But now the cruiser's even moved up further. Oh yeah, because it can't actually see. Like the guns couldn't use it. So, yeah, anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this, and, it's about an hour-long video, sorry about that, but I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you want more of this, let me know, and for the next time, if you want more of this, I will make a, a battleship for us, and obviously the GDF, because they steal our technology so quickly. It's going to be pretty massive. It would be probably visible from here. It would be pretty big ships, and it would be hilarious to watch them explode. But yeah, so cruisers are actually not that big for cruiser. They could be bigger, but I mean, I managed to fit on all this frickin' weaponry, so I'm sure they're pretty good. I mean, it's got two of that type of flat cannon, and then a different type of flat cannon, and then three total naval gun turrets. And a giant turret in the back. So it's pretty strong cannon. I bet if I use this, Oh yeah, the guard mode's automatically gonna turn it off. But I bet if I powered this on... Not quite. Alright, I suck at aiming with these guns, but, I mean, at least BDA Weapon Manager is good enough at it. So, yeah. Looks like he's got two faces for some reason, the Kerbal. But we're going to do more of this if you want, and I'll see you guys in the next. And thank you guys so much for watching, actually. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!